It was supposed to be just another quiet morning. The kind where the mist still clings to the treetops, and the only sound is the steady drip of dew sliding off the porch railing. I stepped outside with my coffee mug, savoring the warmth against my hands. The air smelled of pine, damp earth, and with smoke still lingering from last night's fire. That's when I saw her. A woman stood at my gate as if she had been waiting for me all along. She pointed at my cabin with a stiff arm, posture rigid, like she owned every inch of the place. Next to her was a man in a cheap suit, clutching a clipboard. He wore a grin so smug it felt rehearsed, the kind of smile salesmen wear when they've already signed the paperwork. I frowned, raised my voice. "Can I help you?" She didn't miss a beat. "Yes, you can move your stuff out. This property is on the market." At first, I thought it had to be some mix-up. Maybe the HOA had filed the wrong parcel number, some clerical error buried in paperwork. But then my eyes drifted down. A fresh for sale sign had been jammed into the dirt just beyond the fence line. My address, my cabin, my land, and beneath it, her name listed in neat block letters as the community representative. That's when my stomach tightened. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. "Ma'am," I said, voice low but steady, "this is my home." She gave me the kind of smile bureaucrats give when they're about to ruin your day. "Not anymore. The HOA has decided to sell it. We already have interested buyers." I tightened my grip on the mug. Steam curled upward, blurring the space between us. "Funny," I said, "because last time I checked, the HOA doesn't own my land." The man with the clipboard leaned in closer to her, lips twitching like he wanted to laugh. She whispered something, then straightened and said loud enough for me to hear, "Don't worry. He won't be here much longer." That's when I noticed the gate. The lock wasn't mine. Someone had swapped it out with a shiny new one, brass glinting in the morning sun. They'd been here already. They'd planned this. I pulled out my phone, thumb hovering over the sheriff's number. But then I stopped. A different idea crept in, sharper than caffeine. I turned, walked to my shed, and grabbed what I needed. A heavy chain, a solid padlock, and a bright red sign I'd been saving more for a joke than anything else. Walking back to the gate, I looped the chain tight through the bars, snapped the lock, and hung the sign so it swung in the breeze. In big block letters it read, "Private property. Trespassers will be prosecuted." The man's grin vanished. The woman's jaw flexed, hard as stone. "You can't do that," she barked. I sipped my coffee and let the silence stretch. "Watch me." Her voice climbed, brittle and sharp. "You're obstructing an official sale. I'll call security right now." 2 minutes later, I heard it. The crunch of tires on gravel, an engine growling up the dirt road. A white SUV emerged through the dust. 2 men stepped out, dressed in uniforms that looked right at a glance but wrong the longer you stared. No patches. No names. One clipped a badge to his belt that looked like it belonged in a toy aisle. "Sir," the taller one said, puffing his chest, "open this gate." I stared at him, letting the silence do the work. Then I asked, calm as stone, "And under what law are you here?" The woman crossed her arms, smug again. "These men are community enforcement. They have authority." I lowered my voice, steady and cold. "Here's the thing. I know real law enforcement. I train sheriff's deputies, state police, even SWAT. And I know damn well you two aren't on any roster in this county." The fake cops shifted, eyes flicking toward each other. She snapped, "He's bluffing." I held up my phone. "This is a live call to the county sheriff. You can either walk away now or explain to him why you're wearing fake badges on private property." And right on cue, Salvation rolled in. A county patrol truck turned the bend, lights already flashing. Dust kicked up around it as the sheriff himself stepped out. No yelling, no theatrics. Just his presence was enough to reset the balance. "Morning," he said, voice heavy as gravel. "Somebody want to explain why I'm here?" The woman rushed forward, all polished charm. "Yes, Sheriff. This man is illegally occupying this property. We have a buyer and he's blocking the sale. He even threatened my officers." The sheriff's eyes landed on me. That true? I shook my head. No, Sheriff. This is my land. She changed my locks. Those two are impersonating officers. And I've got it all on video. The sheriff turned toward the pair of fake uniforms. Names? They stuttered, fumbling for words. One finally spat out a name that I knew wasn't real. The sheriff's jaw tightened, lips thinning into a line. The woman reached into her bag and produced a folder, sliding it into his hands like a winning poker card. Here's the deed. This property was transferred 2 weeks ago. My heart dropped. The papers looked real enough, county stamps, notary marks, but my name wasn't on them. Instead, there was a stranger's name and a sloppy forged signature that didn't even resemble mine. That's not my handwriting, I said, heat rising in my chest. She shrugged, casual as if we were discussing weather. Doesn't matter. County records already show the transfer. Taxes have been paid. With whose money? I asked. She didn't answer. The sheriff flipped through the pages, frowning. If these are fake, that's felony fraud. But I can't confirm that standing here. Before he could say more, another vehicle arrived. Sleek, black, tinted windows. The kind of car that didn't belong on a dirt road like this. The man who stepped out made the woman blanch. He moved with a predator's calm, closing the door without hurry. His suit was sharp, expensive, and out of place in the dust. He didn't look at her. He didn't look at the fake cops. He came straight toward me and the sheriff, a faint smirk curling his lips. He pulled a wallet from his jacket. No badge, no ID, just a heavy card stamped with a gold logo, Marlowe and Steele Holdings. You're the buyer? I asked. His smirk deepened. Let's just say I represent interests that want this property. Urgently. The woman scrambled to recover. Mr. Steele has connections. If you move out quietly, you might even get compensated. The sheriff cut in. Either this deed is legitimate or it isn't. Until I confirm, nobody crosses that gate. Steele's voice went low, sharp as a blade. Sheriff, you have no idea who you're dealing with. I couldn't help myself. I laughed. Funny. That's exactly what I was about to say. Because you might want to check the original title, filed in 2005 under my father's name, later transferred to me. Certified copies in my safe. The woman scoffed, but her voice cracked. Titles get updated. The sheriff's radio crackled. Dispatch to Unit 4. Courthouse security footage recovered. Transfer filed by a woman, mid-50s, blonde hair, floral blouse. All heads turned toward her. She froze. That's not me. I wasn't there. The sheriff's eyes narrowed. We'll see. If it matches, you're looking at fraud, impersonation, and unlawful lock change. Steele leaned in close to her, hissed in her ear. You told me this was clean. She stammered, voice small. He was supposed to be gone by now. I smirked. Sorry to disappoint. The sheriff ordered me to bring my title copy to the station. I agreed. But as we turned toward our vehicles, I caught Steele muttering into his phone, voice flat and cold. Plan B. Tonight. My gut twisted. I didn't drive to the station. Instead, I cut through the woods, posted myself in the shadows where the trees bent low. The sun slipped down, the forest coming alive with crickets and owls. And then headlights split the dark. A black van rolled up, quiet, deliberate. 2 men stepped out wearing gloves, masks, moving with the efficiency of men who had done this before. One carried bolt cutters. The other lugged a red gas can. They walked straight for my gate. When they bent down to cut the chain, I stepped from the trees and racked my shotgun. The sound cracked like thunder. Private property, I said. My voice carried in the night. You've got 5 seconds to explain why you're carrying gasoline. The man with the gas can dropped it like it burned him. We're, maintenance workers. I raised an eyebrow. Maintenance comes during daylight, without masks. I pointed toward my cameras. Smile. You're already on 3 feeds. Before I could even reach for my phone, a familiar set of headlights rolled up. The sheriff, doubling back, suspicion already in his eyes. Within minutes, both men were in cuffs. And when I handed him my phone, with Steele's voice ordering the hit, that was the final nail. By sunrise, charges were filed. Fraud, impersonation, conspiracy, attempted arson, property theft. Turned out Marlowe and Steele Holdings had been running the same scam all across the county, forging deeds to steal land and flip it under new names. But mine was the one they couldn't take quietly. That night, I locked the gate again and hung a new sign. Protected land, owner armed and recording. I sat on the porch with fresh coffee, staring at the treeline. The cabin creaked in the cool night air. I thought of my father, of the deed he'd left me, and of the people who tried to erase it all with forged paper and threats. I muttered to myself, I didn't fight for this country just to hand it over to crooks. Then I closed the door, flipped the porch light on, and let the night settle around my cabin. My home, my rules, knowing that no one would dare touch it again.